What's going on, you guys? So check it right. It seems like whenever beef or controversy is the topic of discussion, A-Reece's name seems to always be mentioned. Now, for some context, right, last year we had the upcoming rapper Kane Keid appear on the podcast Spreading Humors, where he was asked who he prefers between Nasty C and A-Reece. Now, the kid chose Nasty C because he believes he's more versatile with the content he raps about, compared to Reese, who just raps about friendships and betrayal.
With A-Reece, it's like constant raps, and sometimes it feels like the topic is being repeated. You know what I'm saying? No, I have to be honest. I have to be honest.
Tight.
With A-Reece, it seems like it's always betrayal, it's always friendships, it's always, you know what I'm saying? I don't think I've had like a wide enough
Catalog.
versatility from
You're making
Reese.
a lot of sense.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah. You're spitting bars.
I'm not even speaking from a fan perspective, because don't get me wrong, I am a fan of his music.
Yeah.
But when we're talking like, would you rather listen to
guys, we have
Nasty
one
or
interview
A-Reece forever?
You did.
I would choose Nasty C, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, once fans caught wind of what Kane said about Reese, you had a lot of mixed opinions where some were opposed to what Kane said and some agreed with him. Now, with fans being opposed to what Kane said, right, it actually got to the point where some fans were demanding that DJ Kane and A-Reece remove his verse from the album from Too Viral. Now, thankfully, that never happened, since he had one of the standout verses on the album with Verse of the Year alongside K-Rev. I mean, if they would have removed him, well, that would have been disappointing and uncalled for, since the little homie was just sharing his opinion. Now, with the whole situation blowing out of proportion, mainly because of the outrage from fans, I'm sure news made its way to Reese, where he retaliated by unfollowing Kane on his socials, and this is how Kane responded to the situation.
There's a little bit of like voices when you made your little comment about A-Reece, right? Now, did you have a chat with him after that? Because there was the whole, you're gonna be removed from the DJ Kane tape. Was that even gonna happen?
Shout out to DJ Kane, shout out to A-Reece for the put on the project. The other stuff I won't actually mention, because it's like we could have had a conversation about it, but now it's that. It's like bridges are burned, so it's seemingly so, and so it's like it could go down either way. You know what I'm saying? Like, for me, I'm cool with either way, but it's all love from my side still. Yeah.
Oh, so that, I mean, you know, social media can assume one thing, right? So are you saying that it seems like the bridge is burned?
Well, he unfollowed me, so I actually didn't even check. People were tagging me, yo, Reese unfollowed you. I'm like, I'm not even going to worry about that too much. But when someone put it in my face, like, yo, look at this. For me, it was like, oh, you know what, I understand. But still, though, it's just like, it shouldn't have been that deep. You know what I'm saying? It could have been handled better, but yeah. I mean, if the bridge is burned, then I guess I'm going to light my way in this darkness with the fire from it.
I mean, like, from that, you know, obviously you're new, you're learning. Do you think that there was a lesson in that, or you're like, yo, it is what it is?
I don't feel like there was a lesson in anything. I feel like people are so accustomed to tiptoeing around the conversation. Where this is hip-hop at the end of the day, by the way. So you're supposed to have conversations that are real. You're supposed to be real as a hip-hop brother. I can't tiptoe around your name. I don't want to do that. You know what I'm saying? And by the way, if you want to big step, you're going to thread over a couple of toes. So I guess that's what happened. But what I'm saying is, I don't think there was a lesson to take away from it. Maybe the way I approached it, sure. Maybe the way I worded things could have been worded better. Maybe that's the lesson in that. But saying what I think should not be in any way changed. I shouldn't change how I view saying what I want to say.
Now, based on what Kane said, right, it definitely seems like he wasn't expecting to get unfollowed, but my thing is, what did he expect? I mean, this is Reese we talking about, and the nigga is known for cutting ties and distancing himself from individuals who seem unfavorable towards him. Now, I do agree with what Kane said about the situation not being deep and the conversation taking place to resolve things, but at the same time, you don't get to dictate how a person responds to disrespect, especially if it's on a public platform. So I don't blame Reese for how he responded, because he obviously felt like the necessary course of action was to separate himself from Kane and the situation. Now, in that clip, Kane mentioned something interesting in my opinion, where he said bridges are burnt and that it could go down either way, basically insinuating that a battle with Reese would have been welcomed with open arms on his behalf if that's the direction of how things play out. But on the opposite side of the spectrum, these niggas could reconcile, which we know Reese doesn't usually participate in. Now, Reese did neither one of those things. Instead, he just ignored the little homie, because I mean, from his point of view, he probably views the situation like, this nigga is not worthy of my attention. I mean, in the past, we've seen Reese mize niggas like Lucas Raps, who thought he could step to him when it came to the best rapper in Africa conversation, and Keid is no different. From my point of view, it really seems like Reese doesn't view these new rap niggas on the same level as him, so in response, you get no response from him. Now, because Kane got ignored by Reese, which I'm sure was a knock to his ego, while he responded the best way he knows how, by directing some subliminal lines to the boy on Loki's record Shots Fired, which features Kane. And we had him say the following: these comparisons ridiculous, apparently unparalleled to parents that's rapping, according to Twitter feeds, these parrots repeating parodies. So with these lines, right, Kane is speaking to the comparisons he was receiving in relation to Reese back when he made that controversial statements on spreading humors about him not being versatile. Now, the reason this is directed towards the boy is because he recently became a father a few months back. Now, a lot of the slimes felt like it was ironic for Kane to talk down on Reese, because he's one of the few new niggas who actually seem like they've been influenced by him. And I guess that's because both Reese and Kane seem to be students of the game who both take their lyricism seriously. Now, Kane clearly finds these comparisons ridiculous and believes the fans who were making those comparisons were exaggerating the similarities in their style of rap. Now, later in the verse, Kane also speaks on directing shots at a pair of kings, making reference to the chess pieces, but he clearly states that it's not the black and white kings. He then speaks on how he's going to land in the king's territory and hold his people captive, and once he's finally in contact with the king, he's going to uncover the king's true intentions, which is that he's more concerned about the crown instead of his people, allowing for Kane to sway the people and gain favor with them, allowing him to become the new king and reign for eternity. So my loose interpretation of what Kane said is that because Reese considers himself as the king, making reference to his latest mixtape, right, which is him considering himself to be the best in the game with the most dedicated fan base in SA hip-hop currently, while Kane believes that Reese is more focused on the title of being the best in the game instead of appreciating his fans a lot more because of the support they give him. And he says that if that continues to be the case, then at some point someone like himself might be able to sway his fan base to their side and expose that Reese only cared about the title of being the best instead of caring about his fans a lot more. Now, I'm not saying that's what Kane said, it's just my interpretation of what he said in the verse, so I could be completely wrong. All I know is that the slimes aren't just a dedicated bunch of individuals, they're a bunch of loyal niggas, and I don't see a time where they stop supporting Reese, so this verse is just wishful thinking in my opinion. Now, should Reese respond? Well, I'm of two minds, because on the one hand, on some hip-hop shit, I say go for it because it's competition when it all comes down to it. But on the other hand, this shit comes across as a big clout chasey in my opinion. And because I feel that way, I say keep ignoring the little homie. Now, trying to gain traction by beefing with one of the top rappers in the game doesn't bring longevity. In all honesty, Kane needs to lock in, and I mean really lock in and produce a solid body of work that'll silence a lot of the noise from the doubters, because I mean the freestyles and the subliminals are all good and well, but is that what you want to be known for? Well, I'll let you guys answer that, but you guys let me know your thoughts on this. What did you make of this whole situation with Reese and Keid, and do you think Reese should respond? Comment down below. Anyways, guys, thanks for tuning in, and I hope you enjoyed. Please make sure to hit that like button if you found the content dope, and hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. It's on to the next one. Peace.